Isekai wa Smartphone is a garbage show made up of all the worst cliches currently plaguing anime. Transportation to another world, OP main character, and harem. If that wasn't enough, it also has some of the laziest animation I've ever seen. This is something that was made only to make money. It's not entertaining or interesting. The author has no other writing credits, and I assume that he wrote it only to make money. I'm only going to compare this show to other isekai so that you know I'm not just being a dick to the genre. It's literally everything that Konosuba is parodying. He takes one item with him to his new world. He gets the blacksmith to make him a samurai sword. A girl uses Crimson Explosion. He learns a steel spell. He can't read the language, but learns it quickly. On top of all that, everything in this show looks cheap. The fight scenes, the characters' reaction to things, the magic, and the walking. It's boring, and at its worst, it looks like someone's first Flash animation. I can see why they may have pushed inexperienced animators to this piece of shit show, though. This isn't big, but it's worth mentioning. Every outro is a different girl in the harem being sad that they're not dating main character. This guy is the most generic, overpowered main character I've ever seen. I thought Sword Art was the worst I'd ever see, but now we have this complete ripoff of that show. He even buys a coat that's just like Kirito's, only white. He gets a buff from God that increases all of his stats. In his first fight, he says that it's like time is slowing down. Knights and Magic, which is airing in the same season, has a main character who's ridiculously good with magic in his new world. But they have an excuse that spells are visualized like programming, which he was actually skilled at in his world. His buff from God also makes him the best at every type of magic. By episode 3, he's learning lost spells that no one can understand how to use. He's constantly saving women. Episode 1, he saves twins and joins their group. Episode 2, he saves a samurai girl, a princess, and the queen. 3, he saves a fox girl. 4, he saves another fox girl and the king. So what's his actual character? Is he a pervert? There's this reoccurring joke where he wants to do a slime quest, so he can let the girls get attacked and have their clothes melted off. They keep telling him no, they don't want to do that. Until his harem's full. Then they agree, because there's maximum fan service potential. One time he accidentally peeps on a girl, but he looks away, and whenever a girl says that she likes him, he gets embarrassed. He's also oblivious because at one point he calls all the girls cute, but when they get embarrassed about it, he doesn't understand. God tells him at one point he can have as many wives as he wants in the world, but he doesn't really seem like he wants that. Don't worry though, he does end up engaged to all of them by the end. The story starts with the main character talking to God. He takes his phone to the new world and God lets him access the internet from his original world. He also maps the world and creates GPS for him. He sees two girls being harassed and saves them. It's no problem for him because then he finds out he's amazing at every type of magic. In episode 2, he learns Steel. They run into the laziest hooded man design ever. They save a duke's daughter named Sushi and cures her mom of blindness. The duke is so grateful that he rewards them with $400,000. Now there's nothing to worry about money-wise. In episode 3, he gets a white Kirito coat and an unlimited gate spell, so there really is no stakes for him. He makes some shogi boards and teaches people how to play. Move over 3 Gatsu, the new shogi show is here. They go to search some ruins and Magic Sister uses Explosion. They piss off a magic monster and can't hurt it. Punchy Girl gets hurt and it's super worrying, but he heals her in 10 seconds, so it's okay. He remembers that you have to capture the king in shogi, so he steals the orb inside of the monster. It ends with a glimpse of Heterochromia Girl. In episode 4, he goes with the Duke to heal the king. He was poisoned by drinking from a glass of wine. Main character assaults a high-ranking official with no repercussions. Then main character uses the same spell he used to cure blindness to Asuna the king. We learn that it's a lost spell that can heal any abnormal condition. Now we move on to the super original detective segment. The fox girl, whose sister he saved before, is being blamed for the poison because she brought the wine. Main character says a great line. Then figures out how the king was poisoned. If you couldn't guess, it was the same crime from fucking everything. The glass was poisoned, not the wine. And the evil-looking guy actually did it. The princess decides she wants to marry main character, and her parents tell her to go ahead and waste her life by trying to convince him to love her. She's 12, by the way. He's only barely 16, but still. They go fight some monsters, and then Princess teaches him summoning magic, and he immediately summons a heavenly beast. This thing is so fucking ugly. He uses his magic to make the beast pass out so it signs a contract with him. Then it gets cute. Next episode, they finally do a slime quest. They're going through the lab of a slime scientist, and he made a bunch of sexual slimes. They run into a lube slime, which causes the girls to get their clothes eaten by other slimes. Because the animators don't want to have to draw the details of the girls with tattered clothes, the girls find undetailed wraps to wear. There's a small tits joke, and the final slimes take the form of the harem. Even though there's no details and they look more like mannequins, main character and the girls seem embarrassed. There's another hilarious joke. The rest of the episode is just him helping the girls. The most annoying one is when Magic Twin can't use Bubble Bomb because she doesn't know what explosive means. Episode 6, they get a mansion. The girls didn't think he would let them live in it, and they get embarrassed. Other characters try to add 10-year-old Sushi to his harem. This knight acts like a loser, because we can't have anyone be cooler than the main character. There's a moment where the group is going to be ambushed by 20 people, and main character uses his phone to paralyze all of them. They fight a dragon, and there's no tension. They do a somewhat creative combo move, and it's probably the best part of this show. Then they reveal that the harem had a competition on who would get to give him a lap pillow. Episode 7, he makes a gunblade. I guess that's a new weapon for Isekai MCs. We see the fight from the intro. We meet a gothic lolly, and guess what? She's actually several hundred years old. This part's pretty funny, though. I wish the rest of the show was actually just him shooting people. Episode 8, he walks in on the girls, and we learn that the blonde has magical socks. He saves a lolly to add him to his maid collection before helping loser night guy fight some thugs. Episode 9, they go to Fantasy Japan, and he defeats like 300 zombies with one attack. He goes on a stealth mission, and a 1,000-year-old lolly molests a girl. And they all pray after killing the bad guy. Episode 10. It's the beach episode. There's a lot of fan service before he makes a contract with a new heavenly beast and discovers a floating facility with a robot girl who wears no pants. Episode 11, he kisses robot girl so that she can register him. This looks familiar. I just can't put my finger on it. The rest of them just standing around talking about who should show him their panties. Episode 12, his harem all tells him that they want to be his wives, and it ends. So, what's the point of the story? God outright tells him in the first episode that he shouldn't die unless something crazy happens. If he can't die, then what possible dramatic stakes are there? The main character in ReZero can't permanently die, but the show is about him learning how to arrange everything until he gets the results he wants. This show is only about a main character growing his harem. This is definitely one of the worst shows I've ever sat through more than 4 episodes of. It's airing with 2 other isekai shows this season, and it manages to be the worst of them. Rather than do something new with the genre or parody it, they decide to make a generic piece of garbage.